How you all doing, guys? Brandon here. Welcome back to Tiny Home Hub, and today I'm going to show you around my budget micro camper. So this behind me is my 2012 VW Caddy Maxi. I bought it for around about £6,000, and then I spent £2,000 basically converting it, getting all of the equipment and even the vinyl wrap that you see on it as well. So this is a very affordable camper, and that's kind of why I went for it. I needed something cheap, cheerful, something I could work on, and something small in order for me to get around the city, because when I originally bought this a couple of years ago, I was living in a busy city, so I needed to parallel park, do 3-point turns. I had no actual parking, like a garage, so I needed to basically park it on the street. So I needed something quite nimble to get around the city, but something that I could sleep me and my partner in quite comfortably. So I went for the Caddy Maxi. It was cheap, it was cheerful, and as much as it might not look like the best converted camper out there, it's just what I need for weekends away. Something that's, you know, works, it's reliable, and something that's comfortable as well. So what you're seeing inside is quite simply a very cheap way for me and my partner to get out on weekends. I've gone around the UK loads in this thing. It's very reliable, and it's a good little run around as well. It's quite a nice drive. So in terms of conversion, I had it empty. It was all empty. I got the windows cut out by a friend and inserted the windows on the sliding doors. I then put in some insulation and sound deadening. One of the best sound deadening I've actually used is Dodo Mat, so I recommend checking them out if you want to sound deaden your camper van. And then I wanted something easy. I didn't want to have to cut a load of wood, so I went online and looked at custom made plywood basically, and there was loads on eBay which custom fit this Caddy Maxi behind. So all I had to do was take out the cardboard, and it was already pre-cut, so I just drilled it into the metal, and then the plywood shell was over the insulation and the sound deadening, which was easy. And then all I had to do was get my wood paneling cut, which I did myself. That was the only kind of wood cutting I really did. And then I drilled that into the plywood, and I had this shell, which was incredibly easy to do. But then the hard part came for me trying to either basically do the bed in the pull-out kitchen myself or look online. And I found a company called Van Furniture, which I don't really recommend because it was quite expensive. I think it was like, I can't remember, it was several £100s to get basically like an IKEA do-it-yourself build, and you build the bed which converts into seating and a pull-out kitchen and storage. But they got the measurements slightly wrong, so I did have to cut a bit of wood, and it was quite frustrating because their instruction manual was like awkward and round the wrong way. But eventually it fit after a lot of work. So it was cheap and cheerful, but Van Furniture didn't get the measurements right, so I did have to end up cutting wood anyway, which kind of defeats the purpose. But it fit, and Van Furniture also allow you to buy the bed, which converts into basically like a chair all around. But I did buy that, and in the end it just wasn't comfortable to sleep on because the cushions would just basically fall apart when you sleep, and you ended up sleeping on wood. So I bought a very thick memory foam mattress to go in, and that fit a double bed perfectly. So I just slid that in, and that doesn't move around at all, and it's very, very comfortable. And obviously then I added my own accessories like the cool little letter board, a dream catcher. There's usually some lights, and I usually have like coffee, I forgot what they call it, like the coffee bean bags up on the roof just to make it look cool, but they fell down. I usually have some lights in there as well, but I forgot to put them in today when filming. So it does look very cozy, and it's very, very comfortable. The only downfall with having a micro camper is that it is small. So all we do is sleep in it, and then the slide out pod, which has like an area for one gas burner and some storage, that basically does your coffee, your bacon butties, and just very you know, just snacks basically. So this is why I recommend a micro camper or something like this for those of you that don't want to live in it. I'd say you could probably live in it for a maximum of a week before it gets a little bit annoying. So I like to take it out on weekends down south or up around Wales for a weekend, and that does it all perfectly. And there's enough storage for these chairs, you know, anything you want to add, like bedding, pillows, all your swimming gear. And in terms of what I do for a fridge, I just get an ice box. I just get an ice box that slides in the back perfectly, and then I have a water container here, which you're seeing, that basically holds a few liters of water, and you can use that to shower if need be, or use it as drinking water should you get it filtered. So it's not luxurious, but for like £7,000-8,000 you're not going to get luxurious. And I wanted a cheap and cheerful van that I could work on myself, that takes us around the UK for a very affordable price. And I think a lot of, like, when I first started looking at campers, you can get good vans for quite cheap, you know. The only problem is you're going to be looking at high mileage, and this one here has like 120,000 miles on the clock and it's still working fine, and I'm going to be driving this until it explodes pretty much, to then buy a new camper. So, you know, you don't need an expensive van to get your weekends away, and I think that's what people need to understand when looking for like a small van. Buy something cheap, and you can buy pre-made pre-cut plywood and builds that just pop up, doing like an IKEA manual, that kind of stuff. So if you're not too good with DIY, like I wasn't, there's plenty of options that you can do, and there is links below for the pre-cut plywood and the van furniture build. And I'd probably do a separate video on pros and cons of micro campers, but the pros are they're small, cheap, you can get around the city and stuff, but obviously the cons are it's small, so you're not going to have comfortable weeks away basically, and especially on the Caddy Maxis, when you get around about 100,000 miles, the fuel injectors start to go, which are a few £100 each, so just take that into consideration if you're looking for a Caddy Maxi. But there you have it, a quick little tour of my little micro camper, which was only £8,000. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more on the channel, hit that subscribe button.